Hello and welcome to another video by Rick Miracle. Hey, in my series Freemasonry and Satanism. We have a new book to talk about. Kind of moving around on my topics. It's been a crazy adventure trying to figure out WTH. What the heck is going on in our world? I'm up to series number 155. Over 400 videos on my YouTube channel, Rick Miracle. And over 500 hours, couple hundred books, looking at pictures and magazines and press releases and other media I came across during my investigation. And lately on YouTube, the gloom and doom predictions, prophecies, is off the chart. I wouldn't have thought it possible that it could get more bizarre, but as each day passes, it does get more bizarre. So this conversation on this book should be bizarre. Earth Changes Bible, a personal guide to the coming global transformation. Coming global transformation. Have you heard about such a thing? Are you perplexed watching the news? All the things going on in the world? Does it boggle your mind? Seems like a lot of people are concerned. Chemtrails, sky spraying of chemicals in our sky, maybe biologicals, microwave HAARP, H-A-A-R-P transmitters, the 5G network coming out, fifth generation, microwave frequencies permeating every inch of our reality. And those frequencies have causes and effects. Different, you tune it to the right frequency. You can do things to people. You can change their emotions. You can turn the rage on, the insanity on. You can turn people off. So this ought to be an interesting conversation, like I said, because I've been circling around half a different 6 or 7 different topics, trying to wrap my head around some of the questions that are showing up in my mind because of the many videos on YouTube. You know how when you watch YouTube videos, they send you recommendations. Depends on where you're looking, politics or aliens or psychic research, whatever. And I kind of vacillate on several different topics because I believe everything's connected. One big reality, even if that reality includes many different dimensions. Planets out there in space with civilizations. It's still all one reality. It is what it is. I want to read a little bit from this. You can see the picture. Apparently, the author signed this when she gave it to me. 3/8/2008. I was up in Maine at that time. I had tried to escape the reality that we're in right now. I thought if I went from Florida to Maine, I could get away from the bizarro world. Little did I realize in Maine it was still there. The propaganda, mind control is everywhere. Anyways, this book was copyrighted in 1996. I'm not trying to do an audio book. I usually pick a couple pages, read from it, and throw in my 2 cents. And in this case, it's going to be very interesting, I believe. So, a topic to go along with this, Earth Changes Bible. If you have been paying attention, you have heard of things like Planet X, Nemesis, the Dark Star, Nibiru, and along with that comes aliens, the Anunnaki, Inky, Enlil. Apparently they came here, according to Zachariah Stitchins and other material, thousands of years ago because they needed gold dust to seed their atmosphere because they had some kind of radiation problems on their planet. So the story goes. And everything I say in this video, don't just believe it as gospel. Oh my. It's just too far this way and too far that way. You gotta be a little skeptical. And with that in mind, I gotta start somewhere. So anyways, Diane Tessman is a channeler, psychically communicating telepathy with some beings from the future, from another dimension, from Hades. Are these entities benevolent? Do they really care about Earth and us? Are they malevolent? Are there malevolent entities out there? You mention Satan or the devil or Lucifer, and people start giggling and saying you're crazy, even though they're having satanic rituals and symbolisms displayed in movies, TV programs, the $1 bill with the all-seeing eye, the pyramid, the sun's rays behind it, the Switzerland tunnel opening, Super Bowl halftime shows. So the last 10 years, they've been just pumping out this satanic symbolism everywhere. A goat, the largest projection anywhere, for a week or so of a goat on the Hoover Dam. And in the Illuminati card deck, I guess they have this big dam that's exploding, like the Illuminati card deck before 9/11 had the Twin Towers attacked. So there's something mysterious going on. I guess that's the theme of this conversation. So Diane Tessman has been communicating with a being called Titus. I've been looking into the channeling information, and then of course all over YouTube is Planet X, Nibiru. A lot of people hear about global warming, global cooling, climate change. What's causing it? Is it real? Pole shifting, threats of World War III, nuclear war. Then we got 9/11, World War I, World War II, terrorism. Apparently the tools of these secret societies to deceive the rest of us. So anyways, I did start looking into this Nibiru thing a little more intensely, and the channeled information a little more intensely, and I've been studying the astral doorways, more psychic research. So what I did discover is on YouTube there are many authors talking about their books, radio programs, websites, videos, many sources of this fear media about planet Nibiru and other things. Aliens, Ascension, Corey Good, David Wilcock, Gerald Clark. I've been looking at it all. I haven't made a video in about a week or so because I wanted to take my time and really look at this and see if I could come up with an answer in my own mind. What the heck is going on? So anyways, if you do go on YouTube and you look up some of these videos on Planet X, Nibiru, or many other topics, Corey Good. On the YouTube channel, there is the name of that channel, like mine says Rick Miracle. And if you click the name of that channel, it takes you to my YouTube homepage. And then there's a line of things you can click, icons or words. One of them is videos. So you can go to Rick Miracle on this video. Just click it below the video. It'll take you to my homepage. And there's a string of words there. One of them is called videos. And if you click it, it will show you all my videos that I published. And on to the right, you can select the newest or the oldest. So you can go back. And also, if you click on that same line instead of videos, if you click the About button, you'll find out more who the author was, their Facebook page, and other websites, radio shows they're affiliated with. In other words, what I'm trying to say, was this or is this information about Planet X, Nibiru, pole shifting, and all this other fear-mongering, asteroids, comets, rising oceans, sinking lands, volcanoes, earthquakes, end of the world type stuff. Is it all grassroots created like my channel is? If you go back and click my name under the YouTube video and you go back and see my oldest videos and look at them, you will see that I started making videos in 2013, and you will see that it was a very awkward situation. I was stumbling in the dark. I just sat down one day and tried to do it. So I think I got progressively better. I leave that up for other people to say. But it was obviously, if you look at the quality of my videos, they're homemade. My point is, when you go look up Planet X Nibiru on a bunch of these sites, and it gives you the history on that line at YouTube channel, when that site was created. So the question I had in my mind, all this stuff about Planet X, Nibiru, pole shifting, oceans rising, global warming, global cooling, comets, aliens, everything else, Antarctica, was it homemade or was it professionally made, costing a lot of money? Think about that. As I was watching the Corey Good video, and that guy doesn't appear from his conversations on the radio shows or lectures or conversations with other people. Doesn't seem like he's extremely wealthy, or he shouldn't be. But I see the graphic quality in his videos, and I scratch my head and I go, man, where did that guy get all that money to do those graphics? I can't afford it. So I went on there and I spent, as you can see, quite a bit of time looking at a lot of websites, clicking their video link, clicking their About page, getting a little bit of knowledge about these people who are publishing all these videos. So would you like to know what I found? Anyways, you got some sites like this here. Matthew Lacroix. These people, many of these people have names, but some of these video sites don't give you a human's name, like me speaking. Matthew Lacroix, Truth of Reality YouTube channel, Consciousness Expansion, Videos, Planet X, Nibiru, 911, Ancient History. So you can see what these people are doing and when they started. Nibiru News, a YouTube site that started in 2014. So I did notice that a lot of these sites popped up in a very professional manner in 2013, 14, 15, and 16, and 17. there were a couple that had been doing this kind of research for a long time. And that's another conversation there. Apparently it goes all the way back, as I've shown in my videos, on that one video I made recently called Pole Shift by John White, I believe. We'll be looking at that book in a minute. That even in Helena Blavatsky's book, The Secret Doctrine, she mentions some kind of pole shift or Earth catastrophic event looming in our future back in 1888. So the topic is also biblical. Even in prophecy in the Bible, it says 3 days of darkness and other descriptions of the end of the world, wormwood, or some kind of the earth standing still. They even made a movie about that, the day the earth stood still. So like I said, this conversation is not new. This thing about a flood, Noah's flood, thousands of years ago, that's pretty common in native tribes all over the world, even the Hopi Indians, and down there in Ecuador, even in Romania, Greece, all over the world there is evidence of underground or in the mountains facilities that were created with some serious technologies. We can't do what they did in the Andes Mountains in Ecuador. We can't do that today. With that book review I went over with Eric Van Daniken, The Gold of the Gods. So like I said, I spent a long time looking at these topics, trying to rationalize in my mind what the heck is going on. So if you go plug in Planet X, Nibiru, Pole Shift, Nancy Leader, channeling, you're going to find a lot of information, and I've already done a lot of it here. So why don't I just read a little bit more? Universe's Secret is another YouTube site created in 2013. U.S. Army warning, urgent warning, Nibiru is here, warnings, Nibiru catastrophes, ancient history. Another site I found was Skywatch Media News, extinction level event reporting, numerous Planet X videos. It's a YouTube channel, Skywatch Media News. You'll find all these if you want to look into it. Planet X Nibiru, and they've been making videos for about 3 years. And then, of course, there's a website about Zachariah Stitchins, where he talks about Planet Nibiru and the Anunnaki aliens from the Sumerian tablets. Well, there's a website called StitchinIsWrong.com, and you can go there and read that material. I've been reading it. And another one is Non-Human Entities, another YouTube channel. Ancient Sumerians, Anunnaki Gods, Android Beings, Planet X, Nibiru videos since 2015. And another one here. Comets, red dwarfs, huge planets, Anunnaki. The Nibiru is called the channel, the Nibiru YouTube channel, since December 2016. A lot of fear videos, fireballs, etc. And then there's another one called EXPITALY, YouTube channel since 2012. HTTP, it has a website also, vid.me, Nibiru-X 2017. Lots of second sun evidence. Pardon me, here, I just wanted to hold this here so you can pause your computer if you want to try to see what I've done. So you don't have to spend days and days getting this information. You can pause your computer and try to read my notes. So another one, Rex Bear, the Link YouTube site. Armageddon, End Times, Planet X, Nibiru, Black Magic, Cyber Warfare, LeakProject.com is his internet site. YouTube Leak Projects 2+ years. And then another one, I don't have a person's name, but the Mystery Decoder is a YouTube site. All you need to know about Nibiru in 10 minutes. YouTube, Google, blacked out area of the sun or the solar system or the galaxy, trying to hide something on the Mystery Decoder channel. Underground facilities, etc. since 2015. Another no-name person's name is Planet X Nibiru YouTube site. Lots of fear on YouTube videos. Nibiru, Trump's shock messages, earthquakes, abnormal signs, hurricanes. So I know a lot of people out there who are looking into this, what the heck is going on, these strange times. Probably know a lot of this stuff. Another one is the WTF Files YouTube channel. They have twitter.com-x-WTF Files-X and a Facebook, the WTF Files TM. So if you just go onto the looking up Nibiru or Planet X or Pole Shift, you'll see these names of these sites, these YouTube accounts on the different videos. And that's what I've done here. And I'm going to continue looking into this and trying to correlate when these were created and the quality of the videos. Because I suspect there are some nefarious forces out there bent on destruction and deception, the New Age and the New World Order, who is financing all this stuff. Scott Ocone, C-O-N-E, Facebook, www.facebook.com, Planet X News 2017. Scott Cohn, www.planetxresearchers.com. A lot of these people have numerous websites. www.nibiruplanet2016.com. Gil Broussard, Planet7x.net. I found that to be a fascinating site. Steve Quayle's written many books, talks on a lot of shows. He's talking with Bob Fletcher about Planet X. I watched that video on YouTube, Steve Quayle. Gerald Clark, I've been going over his material. And I'll be looking into these topics I'm talking about right now on the next several series of my videos. So we will further elaborate these topics. So by the time you watch several of these videos, you probably should come away with some thoughts of your own, what you think. Okay, so Gerald Clark, I've been reading his book, The Book of the Anunnaki of Nibiru. Walter Crittenden, I made a video on his book, The Lost Star of Myth and Time. V.M. Robolu, book Herculumbus or Red Planet, we'll look at that book. Spirituality through the awakening of the consciousness. So there's a lot of themes here, common denominators, and one of them is raising the human consciousness. Another one is ascension. Another one is a huge catastrophe, Planet X or pole shift, global warming, global cooling, climate change, nuclear holocaust, aliens, mysticism, spirits, different kinds of beings. The earth, Gaia, is alive and ticked off according to the material I'm reading because we people tore down all the forests, as if we people all over the world actually did it. We people haven't been in control of the planet. There are secret forces, secret societies, secret elites, apparently into Luciferianism and Satanism, witchcraft, the occult, mysticism, who have been behind the scenes planning all these wars and destruction for thousands of years. That's where I point the finger. They want to point the finger at the rest of we people and say they have to have a new world order like the Hunger Games movie because we can't be trusted. And I'm not buying that story. So I'm going to look at that book. Numerous Channelers, Diane Tessman. That's the book I'm going over today. Biblical references on the Great Flood and future predictions of some big events in Revelations and many other places in the Bible. I'm looking at everything here. David Wilcock, Corey Good. Been going over his material. We'll continue going into that. I did watch a 2-hour video with Corey Good, and that was very informative, giving me a bird's eye view into what he thinks and what he says he saw in the hollow earth. So what is going on? Is planet Nibiru coming with the Anunnaki aliens? Or is the earth hollow, and do the beings live inside the earth, or both? Or are they also in other dimensions, opening up certain types of portals coming into our dimensions? Are we being attacked from other dimensions, below the earth, above the earth, from every direction? They would have us believe that. So if you look at this material enough, you start asking some questions. What is it? Is it this or is it that? Barbara Marciniak, I've been going over her book. She channels the Palladians, talks about Planet X, depopulation. Eric Van Doniken, the Book of the Gold of the Gods, down there in Ecuador. Zachariah Stitchin's Book of the 12 Planets, 1976. Look how far back Zachariah Stitchin's goes on this material. So the Sumerian tablets have been around thousands of years, discovered in the sand in the Middle East. So why do you suppose they had 911 and they destroyed all those countries and been bombing all those towns and villages and cities and all their municipality industrial areas, water facilities, sewer plants, buildings? What's going on? Are some returning Anunnaki from another solar system that the Earth's solar system is supposed to collide with? Are they coming back, and do they want to live here again and bring us back to a previous golden age where they were the pharaohs and gods? What's going on? So like I said, I'm looking at everything, so I hope this isn't confusing. Marshall Masters, I've been paying attention to him for years. He's pretty famous on YOWUSA.com since 2002, right after 2001. A lot of people are saying, you know, they keep saying it every year. It's going to happen. It's going to happen this year. It's going to happen this year. 2015, they brought us Jade Helm 15, where they were putting equipment and troops all over the United States doing military exercises, even Walmart's being converted to FEMA camps. All kinds of mysterious things going on. Don't you think we should look into it? Alright, Forecast 2012, I've made videos on his book. We'll continue looking at his material. Edgar Casey, he talks about Atlantis. He was a channeler or a psychic, did readings for thousands of people. He talks about a pole shift, severe seismic disturbances. Helenina Blavatsky, I talked about. The Secret Doctrine, Volume 2, page 85. Earth's axis changing. So that was in 1888. John White, the book, The Pole Shift, I made a video on that book. And that was written, copyrighted, published in 1980. So do the math. That's 37 years ago. They've been spreading the fear propaganda about the pole shift. And all kinds of evidence on all these videos about the telescopes spotting Nibiru or Planet X or the Destroyer or Nemesis over in the different parts of the galaxy, or near Orion or over there in other constellations. Lots of stuff. So what are we to believe? That's why I've been looking at this so intensely. I wanted to try to get it correct in my head. What am I supposed to believe? What do I believe? Should you move away from the coast? Is there going to be a big calamity? Can they control the weather? Why are they dumping chemicals in the sky? And all this other bizarre stuff with President Donald Trump just saying ridiculous things on his Twitter account or press releases in the news and his speeches that he's going to destroy North Korea. How's that going to work out for the world? Do they need a false flag, a pretended event to bring us World War III, to bring us worldwide martial law, shutting down the system, collapsing the economic system? The Hunger Games movie concept. And apparently, like the Georgia USA Guidestones in Georgia, USA, they want a world population of 500 million, not 6 billion plus, so they say, which again, I don't buy. They've been killing people for a long time. I don't think there's 6 billion people. And one good reason why I believe that is because they've been lying about everything else. Nancy Leader, she's talking about Planet X and all this pole shifting, and large portions of the land masses all over the world are going to sink. The maps of the world will change. Go see Nancy Leader, and she's channeling with the Veda aliens, which happen to look like gray aliens. Who would have thunk that? John Moore believes in Planet X. I've been watching John Moore's fear propaganda, moved to the Ozarks in Arkansas to be safe there. So some of these people are just trying to be so believable, and they seem so believable, and I wonder how many people are gullible, including me. I didn't know what to think years ago. So John Moore believes in Planet X, plenty of videos with him speaking or his own radio show. So Planet X Nibiru pole shift causing global climate change. So you can see that I've done a lot of work here. I remember Christmas time 2012. And I was traveling from Santa Fe, New Mexico, back to Asheville, North Carolina, to take charge of my business. The person who was managing it, her and her fiance were going to Hawaii for a few weeks. So they said, can you come take care of the cat and the dog and take care of your own business? And things weren't working out quite well in Santa Fe. I tried to hire a couple people to start another business location, but nobody wanted to really work or do anything. But it was interesting. I did spend 6 months out there. And I went to the Hopi reservations, the Grand Canyon, went up by Dulce, the area there where the underground bases are supposed to be. Los Alamos. I drove all through Los Alamos. Had my radiation meter on the seat of my car, and it was red lighting all the time. I went to Roswell, went to the UFO Alien Museum. So I spent 6 months. That's what I've been doing for the last 12 years. I've been going places up to Maine, Long Island, North Carolina, out west, different places in Florida. Just researching, checking stuff out. Premeditated on my part. I don't go there for a week. I need to spend some time. 6 months, a year. So I've been doing all this research. And in 2012, there was all this talk about the end of the world. Most people remember that. I think I have books on that. There's one here. The 2012 story. I haven't read this book yet. The myths, fallacies, and truth behind the most intriguing date in history. So, you know, I was hooked in, hook, line, and sinker, and so was everybody else. And while I was driving back from Santa Fe, New Mexico to Asheville, North Carolina, which is a 2-day or more drive. Try driving across Texas or Arkansas or even Tennessee. It's really long. And one of the common denominators just before Christmas, just before the end of the year, is apparently a lot of people were having end of the world parties. They were announcing on the radio. Everybody was predicting the end of the world, just like they did in the year 2000. There were gloom and doom predictions. And they startled everybody with 2001, 9/11. World War I and World War II were startling events that were artificially created by the sinister people in the secret societies. They caused those events. They were planning before World War I and II before the people ever knew. It was a foregone conclusion. In 1888, back then, Albert Pike, the general, the leading commander for the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, wrote to his friend Mazzini in Italy that 3 world wars would be required for this new age, new world order. And when I get into the Diane's book, I know I'm taking a long time to get there, but it's going to talk about that through channeled entities from some other dimension. So it's probably worthwhile to have a lengthy opening on this video so that we can get a perspective, especially a perspective of where was I coming from? What do other people think? What were they thinking? And these things that didn't happen, they keep being predicted around September every year. Ison, comet Ison coming through our system. Elenon one year. And even President Obama apparently flew to Denver, was in the underground bunker when Comet Elenon was coming through. Do these people really think it was coming through? Were they in their bunkers? A lot of strange things going on. So anyways, that I was aware of all this 2012 fear-mongering, the end of the world, the Mayan calendar, all that stuff. I learned a new technique of using filters to take pictures of the sun because I wanted a base mark. If there were going to be sun changes, I wanted to know how did the sun look normally, and so I used filters, and you can do this too. So I took a lot of pictures of the sun. And you see those 2 balls next to the sun? Those are effects from your camera. You can move your camera around and you can move the balls around. So some of them are movable and some of them appear to be like there's actually something out there. These were taken in should be a date on the back of these. I don't see a date. 2012 I started taking pictures, and I've been photographing the sun ever since. I use different filters and different apps for your camera to get these different effects. So I know, and I have evidence of what you see with your camera, and I use different cameras, by the way. So if there is any significant change, if there really is something coming, one would think that I would be able to see it with all this evidence that I have of using these filters photographing the sun. I blew these up. And you can see the orange or pinkish ball behind the black spot. Well, the black spot is actually what you see in the sky. It's bright white, but with these cameras and filters, it shows up as extremely black. Right there. So you see the black thing right there in this picture? That's what you see as the bright sun in the sky. But behind it, you can see this pinkish orb. That's the real sun. You can't see the real sun. You see the real sun's effect on the atmosphere. It's like if you have a flashlight and you aim it at the wall, the light is coming out of the flashlight. You don't see that. You see where it hits the wall. And if you look between the flashlight and the wall, you can't see that beam at all. And think of the flashlight as that red orb. And on the top there, the red orb is the flashlight. So that's how the sun affects the earth. And its rays come to the earth, and then when they hit the atmosphere, it creates apparently a lot of heat, the rays, and that gives us the glowing orb that we see. And on the big pictures, as you see above there, in the center of that one up there is a black dot. I find that a lot in my pictures. So my point is, I have thousands of these pictures, and I've been, it's a hobby of mine. Somebody said I have so many pictures and such cool artwork, I could probably start putting this stuff on canvas, and a lot of people would want that. The glare here is bothering me. Let's see if I can change the glare. Some of the filters I use create some very interesting effects. I have a lot of pictures like this I've experimented with. They look kind of cool. So with the different filters, I've been able to get some kind of benchmark of what the sun looks like. So if there was any kind of significant change, here's some more pictures. Some of them come out quite spectacular. Pictures of the sun using filters and phone apps software on your computer. But I did catch these other odd shapes up there, which I believe are some kind of lens effect. So is the black dot the actual sun, and is the blue dot there actually the bright light you see in the sky? Because remember, the sun is quite a distance from Earth. So, and it doesn't actually glow bright white. If you go on the Soho.com, the NASA website with the satellites in space, the sun actually looks like a charcoal ember glowing red, like a red orb. But when the rays hit the Earth, that's when you see the bright light. So my point is, I've been taking these pictures, I've been getting these different kinds of orbs, and I was able to move the camera around and change the position of many of the orbs many times. And sometimes it seemed like there was something there to see, like this one. because it had a halo around it like a heat effect. And I use these lenses and experimenting, taking pictures of other things, so you can see what it does. So the bottom line is this Planet X, Nibiru, Nemesis, the Destroyer, has been mentioned throughout history for a long time. And I've got some books here on these topics, books I've been going over and reading on different material, from channeling material, continuing my psychic research, and astral doorways. So it's kind of hard, but I know what the initiates into, like the Rosicrucians and these other secret societies who study yoga and meditation, they try to gain control of their mind by suppressing the chatter in your mind of the everyday life. Try to sit in a chair and only think of one thing for 1 minute without any other thought coming in your mind. You're going to find out you can't do it. It's very frustrating. You just sit there and say, hey, I want to just think about the number 1. Just 1. Don't think about anything else. Just close your eyes and try to think about 1. About 2 or 3 seconds later, your brain's going to talk to you and go, well, am I thinking about anything else yet? And you're going to go, darn, shut down. I don't want to think about anything else. I only want to think about 1. And if you practice this and turn the lights out and keep everything quiet and practice for a while, you'll be able to think about just 1 for several minutes, and you will have come a long ways. And as you practice that, you try to think about other things and just think about that one thing for as long as you can. And once you can perfect that ability in your mind, then you can think about that one thing and you can choose to change it to something else, like a location that's far away, and apparently your ability will increase and you'll be able to psychically travel. But first you got to gain control of your mind. That's what this yoga and meditation and illumination, secret societies, and occult organizations, I've got many books on these topics. I've been reading them on remote viewing. I'm going to continue my line of investigation because I want to find out what's going on. What do they know that they don't tell us? So I've been reading this. Meanwhile, I've been reading this. Gerald Ford. I've been watching Gerald Ford's videos. I don't go halfway on these programs here. I spend days and weeks and months, and in this case of my research, Freemasonry and Satanism, 4 years on making videos. It started buying and researching books in 2005, 13 years ago. But here, the Anunnaki of Nibiru, mankind's forgotten creators, enslavers, destroyers, saviors, hidden architects of the New World Order. You see what I'm saying? Here in one book. Look at the Egyptian hieroglyphics. Think of Zechariah Stitchens. Mysticism, Helena Blavatsky, Theophist Society, the Pharaohs. All that mysticism, religious activity in the Middle East. Why do they have 911? Why are they attacking the Middle East and destroying everything? What are they preparing for? Gerald Clark. So I've been reading this book. And I thought to myself a while ago, are there any books on Planet X out there? Here's one. I ordered this a long time ago. And believe it or not, they had this one astronomer, started out as a young boy, who was fascinated and made some homemade telescopes as a young boy. And finally wound up getting a job at a university in astronomy. And there were permutations causing other planets to kind of wobble. and they were trying to figure out what it was. And apparently that's when they discovered Pluto. So the original planet X was Pluto. That's what this book's about. A famous astronomer who, through a lot of hard work and diligence, discovered the tiny planet of Pluto that was causing the disturbances of other planets. Neptune. And a friend of mine just finished reading this book, and she was pointing out this and that, and I'm going to try to read it. But shamanism, I've been reading material on that for quite a while, sharing my knowledge in my videos. Remember, I have about 400 videos, more than that on YouTube. And I have a list on my website, rickmiracle.com. On the top left-hand side, you can copy and paste and print out your own list so you can watch the videos that you want to watch, or don't even watch my videos, but see the names of the books and the authors and go research that material and watch other people's videos. I don't care how you do it, but we need people to wake up. And I read this book before I was making videos. I read it in its entirety. The Book of the Hopi by Frank Waters. So I'm reading it again, but it talks about the blue kachina, red kachina, and the preparations by some beings helping the Hopis thousands of years ago build facilities in the mountains and underground to survive the previous world catastrophe, the Great Flood. So we'll be looking at this again. I made a video. I haven't made a video on this one, I don't think. The human bloodline of the Anunnaki. Here we have the Anunnaki aliens again. I've got a lot of work to do, even though I've done a lot of work. Bloodlines of the Gods. Howard West. And of course I made a video on this book or two. Series number 56. The Lost Star. Of Myth and Time. And also, trying to wrap up my opening here, I've been really digging deep into the channelers, all the different channelers out there, famous ones, dead ones, big thick book, all the labels. That tell you the different names. See if I can zoom this up so you can see it. So I got tabs in there with all the sheets. A lot of pages. And I made a big chart like I showed you in the beginning of this video of all the different channelers. Another book. This is no small investigation. I bought this book a long time ago. Herculumbus or Red Planet. Written by a man from Brazil. I've been looking him up, and that's an interesting conversation. You can see his name here, V.M. Rabolu. We'll be going over his material and his name and his life. But he wrote this book when? From Brazil. He wrote this book okay. 2003 was a second edition. So this guy from Brazil, who was also a psychic and a channeler, fascinating material on him on the internet. Let's look to see if there's any pictures here. Looks like some kind of tree of life thing here. Alright, so reading one little page here. The streets on Venus are not like ours. The avenues move like an escalator. Wow. So imagine walking on a sidewalk. Well, I guess you don't have to walk. You could just step onto a sidewalk, and it takes you there. In Venus. Who would have thought that? There are no accidents of any kind because everything is in order. The vehicles are beautifully, richly decorated platforms. They depart, reach their destination, and the platform descends with all the people on it. So this stuff goes back on. This was 2003. They published the second edition of this book. And this author was from Brazil. I did have some pictures here I've shown in previous videos, but we may as well look at them again. But you can go on Yahoo image site and put in Planet X, Nibiru, Herculaneum, the Destroyer, Wormwood. Wormwood's mentioned in the Bible. But you'll find Yahoo image site, you'll find these pictures showing that some kind of celestial body is going to come through our solar system. And on French money, believe it or not, they have a picture of the solar system apparently interacting with another solar system. On French money, just like on the US dollar bill, we have the all-seeing eye and the pyramid with the hieroglyphics that are mentioned on Gerald Clark's book, Planet Nibiru. So Egypt plays a big part in this, and that helps explain 9/11 and apparently World War I and World War II, because remember the Kabbalistic mysticism, many Jewish people, Zionist communists, not all Jewish people have turned away from God, but these other ones who are bent on being the aristocrats of the world know a lot of these secrets and information that I'm sharing in this video. And they needed to gain access and control of the Middle East, but the world leaders all over the world, and including that area like Turkey and Greece, etc., wouldn't let them. It was the Ottoman Empire back then. And so they had to destroy the Ottoman Empire, plus take over countries all over the world, including the leadership of the United States of America, and obviously all of Europe with the now EU, unified Europe, where all those countries lost their personal sovereignty. They don't govern themselves. So, and this was all conspired by secret societies and organizations. Even Meunier Perot, and I put his name in a 666 numerology calculator, and Meunier Perot, one of the secret conspirators of the EU, you can look him up. His name was 666, the mark of the beast. Even Aleister Crowley changed the spelling of his name to be 666. So you can find the clues if you look. Newt Gingrich, he got divorced, I believe, from my research because he was wanted to be involved in wife swapping or swinging. And I knew that's part of the Levi Sabbatai or Frankist, one of the cults, religions of the bad Jewish people who are into apparently Luciferianism or Satanism, gaining grace to God by doing evil. So they said if you can't be good, you got to be bad. And if you want to get saved or redeemed, you got to be really bad. Some kind of real, in my opinion, mental thinking. And I've made videos on that stuff quite a bit. And you can look up Sabbat Levi in my book reviews I've made out of the Encyclopedia Judaica. Their own book is what I read from. But this guy was a prophet, said he was the Messiah or God. And the commandments were the opposite of the 10 commandments. Think about that. How evil can that be? So these are the same people that are bringing us this propaganda about some celestial body coming. And apparently it's supposed to have wings. And if you look on the Egyptian hieroglyphics, you will see orbs with wings. You will see bulls with orbs on their forehead between the two horns with wings. You're going to see these symbols everywhere. And it does take a lot of work to get some kind of grip on it in your mind, what this all is, and does it in fact exist. We've all seen the fears and the pictures of comets and meteorites and scares with, I think 2011 was Elenon, and 2012 Ison. So it is a bit of an education process, but if you want to take the time to do it, you will learn. I've been going over Lee Carroll's channeling information of Cryon. I made a video on that, series 123. I'll be making more videos on these people. All these books I've gone over, I'm going to go through all of them again and make another video on every book, knowing more now than I did then. So it is an ongoing education for me too. But the stuff in my videos for the last 4 years, as a lot of people have informed me, is very insightful. It incites people. And as well as inform people, insightful or insightful. One to incite hatred, and the other one is to gain some insight. So either way you want to use the word insight, I think my videos can do it. My method of just having a frank conversation, looking at books like this, and reading from the pages briefly and having my conversation from what I'm learning. Like, again, stumbling in the dark, but you do find your way if you search long enough. And this book was published, I've made a video on this, series 139. 2005, John White's writing a book with so much evidence here of so many referenced sources. I probably haven't even found all the sources yet. I need to go ahead and read this book entirely. Another book I've been going over, very important, is more books on aliens and UFOs and that topic. And this book here tells us a lot. Are these gray aliens, as you see in the picture here, and Aleister Crowley, the evilest man alive, they called him over there in Europe, bragging about killing children, sex with children, and having sexual orgies and ritual sexual magic and other stuff. Freemason and the Rosicrucian, Order de la Temple, or different kinds of cults. He even created some organizations that are existing and thriving today. But this book is called Little Gray Bastards, The Incessant Alien Presence. Forward by Nick Pope, UK, United Kingdom, Britain, Ministry of Defense UFO Project, 1991-1994. The authors Jordan Hoffer and David Barker. Little Gray Bastards. I've been reading this book. So before I wanted to make this video and the ones I'm going to make in the future, I wanted to have a baseline conversation. That's this opening. So I did look up the book I'm going over now, Diane Tessman. And you can go find that book and buy it. But I'm just trying to give people a jump start on their investigation and thinking process. But anyway, here's a picture of her. And I'm not so sure I met her, but obviously she signed the book and put my name on there. But this is a website that's hers. And it says here, The Transformation is a unique and inspiring book. That's another one of her books. It is written from the heart and the soul of the UFO researcher and well-known spiritual channeler, Diane Tessman. It offers a detailed account of her childhood encounter with UFO beings, Tibus, and with notes on regressive memories by Dr. R. Leo Sprinkle, Ph.D. So I wanted to find out more about this lady. Diane's contact is real. Who is Diane Tessman? So you can go look up this document. UFO News, Earth Changes Predictions, Diane Tessman. I'll show you the top here so you can pause it and write it down. Education background, Diane today. Diane's personal spirit quest. I was reading her book. She started some kind of newsletter, traveled to the Netherlands, and then traveled to Ireland, lived in several places around the world, and then went back to Joshua Tree, California, which I thought was weird because Stephen Greer has done some of his alien or being communications serious disclosure program in Joshua Tree. And apparently a bunch of these people go out there in a field or by the ocean or whatever, and they do chanting and incantations, different kinds of combinations of words like a prayer or abracadabra, hocus pocus. And apparently these beings appear with Stephen Greer. We'll be going over his stuff some more. And I've been watching his videos lately again and again, as well as Gerald Clark, as well as Corey Good, as well as David Wilcock, as well as Diane Tessman, as well as other channeled material, as well as Nebrew videos, end of the world predictions and declarations and warnings, comments, earthquakes, oceans risings, government-controlled weather programs causing the hurricane destruction in Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, and the fires are burning all over the West in Canada and in the United States, while this year the east side of the United States is all flooding. And it wasn't that many years ago that we were burning in Florida and North Carolina. So is the whole planet under attack for some pending destruction? Or is it being destroyed intentionally? I guess that is the question, which I'm trying to find out here. So one of these other websites I discovered was Face Like the Sun. Look at these videos. So again, I was, like I said in the beginning of this video, I was trying to figure out all these videos on YouTube, are they homegrown projects by people like me, or is it some kind of orchestrated propaganda campaign with the high-tech qualities that cost thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars to create? And some of it is seriously professionally done and did cost a lot of money. When you go to the YouTube account, at the bottom of each video, it tells you the YouTube name of their channel, like my channel says Rick Miracle. And you click it, and you'll have a button you can press that says videos published, and you can take another selection and say newest or oldest first, or you can click the About button and see when the site was created. But look at the quality of their videos from day one, and they were professionally made with high graphics and other kind of visual effects that's very expensive. So why would somebody spend all that money? The elite, powerful people who want the New World and the New World Order are behind all this. Anyways, on this Face Like the Sun, and even their symbol here is a little mysterious. Where my finger is, in the center of this video, look at that face with the flames. So look at the Statue of Liberty on the crown and see that it has flames, and the torch. And the all-seeing eye on the US $1 bill has the sun's rays behind it. It's always the light bearer, the light bringer, enlightenment, illuminated, initiated. Anyways, Face Like the Sun. Again, you go check these sites out, you have to be a little amazed. How many people think about this? That they need to look at those videos and say, wait a minute. This was seriously professionally done. Cost a lot of money with a lot of intent. So on one hand, they're trying to wake up the whole world to believe this new age philosophy that planet Earth is alive with Mother Goddess in charge, Gaia, and she's ticked off because we burned down the forest. So she's expressing her anger, and that's how and why the earthquakes and the volcanoes and the temperatures and all the other things on planet Earth are happening, because Mother Gaia, Earth, is upset, enraged. It's in this book. I've been reading it and many other books. Like I said, I'm trying to get a handle on what's going on. Zachariah Stitchin's Planet Nibiru, Anunnaki, Barbara Marciniak, Palladians, Nancy Leader, the Vedas. So anyways, on this Face Like the Sun, I just thought this was interesting, is brain hacking for the one world religion. So apparently we know the 5G network is coming online, the 5th generation telecommunication system with microwave frequencies hooked up to gigantic beast computers and permeating every aspect of our lives. Everything will be computerized and monitored and controlled. Maybe they'll be controlling we people. Maybe they didn't make that movie Zombies for nothing. Maybe a lot of these terror events are caused by mind control. Maybe they're testing the system. All right, more love, word of encouragement from the Philippines. In your face, satanic fashion show in Anglo-Catholic Church. So in some Catholic church, did they have a... See the girl in the red dress? Did they have a satanic fashion show? Gotta go watch these videos at Face Like the Sun. And here's where it shows you newest video first when you go check out the channel. Right here. So you can click this to watch the first videos they ever made. And of course, then of course it has the place here you can click where it says all the videos, and then the About page on that line, so you can see when the website was created. This cryptic is trying to fight against the beast system. This video. So you see what I've done here? I'm checking out all these websites that are publishing this stuff in a very sophisticated, expensive manner. Where did they get the money? The talent. It's obviously intentional. So the elite, powerful people who are trying to crash the system are making all this stuff. Now, who would have? Many people by now know that, right? Live chat with Anthony Patch. Full spectrum dominance. Age of EM 666. All these things I talk about. "16 years later, things keep accelerating. I keep saying more Antarctica information. True nature, word of encouragement. So slowly but surely, I get a better grip on what I believe is going on. But as you can see, it took a lot of work. And it's probably going to take a little bit more work. Final stand for privacy. Blockchain battle for your soul. Battle for your soul. Remember, they don't want people to believe in Jesus or God, even the Islamic religion. Even in Aleister Crowley's book, series number 23, the Book of the Law, and the only law from Aleister Crowley's God, Lamb and Iowas, these beings he's communicating with, and he drew a picture. They look like gray aliens. And their law is do what thou wilt. You can do anything you want because you deserve to have all the experiences you want. You want to murder somebody? No problem. Why should you be denied that? Sex with children? Steal people's money? Destroy a whole nation? Kill millions of people? What's on your mind? Do as thou wilt. And he was known as the most evilest man alive, bragging about evil things that I don't really want to mention that he did to children, and his other sexual group orgies with apparently for some kind of magic ritual, communicating with some kind of beings. This makes me wonder, what is this stuff? If artificial intelligence ruled the world, imagine that. So President Putin, or maybe some people, are aware of what's going on. Will that be what World War III is all about? Will the United States be destroyed because we, the people, aren't aware of what's really going on? We know that the 911 was an inside job. Through my research, I'm now aware of many other things are inside jobs, like initiating and deceiving the people for World War I and World War II, French Revolution, Russian Revolution, Chinese Revolution. You know, many presidents assassinated, replaced, many other people, whistleblowers, people who know too much, even by accident, killed. Astronomers, biologists who knew things about the viruses and other research going on for plagues. Doctors who are into holistic healing, mysteriously dying. Bankers, military leaders during the Obama administration, all being let go. Who were they replacing these guys with? The government buying 30,000 guillotines, and the Noahic laws say the preferred method of executing people during these prophesized times, the people who are heretics, who don't go along with the new Lucifer religion, the preferred method to kill them is by beheading them, like they did during the Inquisition. It happened once. Can it happen again? All the clues seem to say it can, and it's coming closer than we think. Vanity, world of encouragement. Wow. It's hard. It's getting hard to keep up. Walk on water by 30 seconds to Mars baiting. Is walk on water by 30 seconds to Mars baiting. False worship, word of encouragement. Concerns are legit. Documented evidence. This is on this Face Like the Sun. Some of these videos you can go watch. No excuses. This tech is not science fiction. So this 5G network and all this other stuff they're doing and working on completing, even with Jade Helm 15, testing computer software programs that will make decision who lives and who dies and who gets enslaved, all by computers, not by people. And whose house missiles will be flying in the middle of the night to blow up. That's what they do during revolutions or these world wars, is they do something called a purge. And all the people who are opposition or deemed the enemy will be eliminated. And again, they prefer to do it by public execution, beheading people. Nothing new here. It's happened in the past. All right. Unshakable word of encouragement. Why did Len D. Rothschild tweet this? So why did Len D. Rothschilds tweet something? Go watch the video on Face Like the Sun. Is 5G, I keep talking about it, Trump's New World Order? So more and more it's looking like Trump is playing the bad cop, good cop scenario. And I guess it was his job to be the good cop to get elected. And it's going to be his job through deception to be pretend that he has to be the bad guy with the North Korea situation, threats with Iran, they're saying, maybe an attack on Venezuela. So knowledge is the key here, and it is an information war. Attitude, word of encouragement, acts of the Bible, hacking the eclipse, August 21st, and predictive, encourageable love, This generation is in a lot of trouble. It says it right here. This generation is in a lot of trouble, where my finger is. By technical collapse. Apps and microchip news. Sinister connections or just mere coincidences. Sinister connection or mere coincidences, that video. This is just one channel here. I showed you how to go find these different channels and how to see all their videos, and clicking the oldest first and see when they were created and how they came out of the gate making videos, and see if you don't think that they were professionally made. Kind of an alarming when you think about this. The evidence right there if you just want to look at it the right way. Sanctified. Question is distrust. Going mainstream, good or bad. And even with all the football people, many of them from the photos I looked at, the large portion of them are black people. But I think it might backfire, and it might be an intentional backfire on black people. But they're all taking a knee or whatever against the USA flag or the national anthem, which again I think is all contrived. I mean, President Donald Trump did initiate it all with a tweet and other things he's been tweeting and doing. But now restaurants and other locations are banning football from their TVs, period. And it would put a big hurt on the community of football, which a large portion of the players are black. There's nothing racist about saying that. It is what it is. But I think it'll backfire on all these people. And it'll just further promote a lot of people's racism, which is regrettable, which I think, again, as I've been saying, is part of the plan to divide and conquer. The Hegelian dialectic, you have to bring about some event so you can take action, even though you created the event. And we know they had the thing in Virginia and Alabama with the white supremacist scoops, White Lives Matter, KKK even getting involved marching, and Black Lives Matter, and women's marches, and gay rainbow parades. So we're being attacked by every direction, and I think this thing with the football thing is just another angle of this conversation. And regrettably, if it does backfire and people turn away from football, all these black football players and the money they make and a lot of other people involved will suffer for it. Could that be the reason? Think about all these things I'm showing you on this stuff. Nothing is happening by accident right now, I believe. So let me look at the book. Now that I've really took up a lot of time trying to make a point before I read from the book, so you can see where I'm coming from. All right, so Diane Tessman says since she was a child, she had some kind of interaction, although she really didn't know what was really going on, with some kind of beings, whether they're from a galaxy far away, another planet, solar system, or portals in space, so she says, or even from the future, time travelers. And she's channeling information. She was doing a newsletter. She's well known. She's publishing books, has a lot of followers. So what does this being have to say? So I'm going to read from page 37. I've read everything here and highlighted it up to page 42 so far. I had this book for quite a while, but I wanted to make a video. So I've got some more to read. So I will be making a video or two. But maybe I can pique people's interest, if they're interested, to go find a book and read it for themselves, or look up her name and see her speaking. But again, I might warn people, I'm not advocating what she says in this book is a truth that I believe in. I want to hear what she says. And I want to remember all that stuff I went over in the opening. New Age, New World Order, mind control, computer software program, Jade Helm 15, 911, satanic symbolism everywhere, TV programming. A lot of bizarre stuff going on. There's no doubt about that. So if these beings exist, why is all this weird stuff going on? And what does Diane Tessman have to say about the stuff that's going on? And another question, what does this being that she's communicating with have to contribute to this conversation? Other dimensional races come to Earth. Page 37. Also, there is a huge number of other dimensional Earth races currently contacting humans. These include Tybus. That's this being she appears to be in love with, calls it her soul mate in the galaxy. This includes Tybus, future humans, but also there are mystical ancient tribes who have never really left the face of the earth. They simply turned sideways to the sun. As an Irish song says, these ancient races left three-dimensional Earth, but remained with us in other dimensions. In future chapters, we will have urgent channeled messages. I can't wait to read the rest of this book. From several of these other dimensional groups. And remember, it may not be the truth. Likely it's not the truth. But I don't want to disparage anybody. I'm keeping an open mind at this point. At present, we simply wish to stress that they are an important part of the space dimensional intelligence who are working to save Earth. So why are these space age intelligences from other dimensions or other planets working to save Earth? That's a bit odd. Why in the United States, in Georgia, do they have the guidestones indicating they want a population of 500 million? Assuming that's what they want, then 6 billion people have to die, assuming there are 6 billion people on the planet. Again, I'm not convinced of that. I think this sustainability biodiversity topic is another part of the lie. A large part of that work is done through making contact with humans like you. Also included in other dimensional groups are the natural spirits, which we have already mentioned. These range from fairies, elementals, to the goddess of the volcano. So we have a goddess of the volcanoes on Earth, and apparently this goddess of the volcano is angry too. She works for Mother Gaia, the spirit of planet Earth. And they're ticked off because we humans burned down the forest and polluted the planet, so they would have us believe. You see how this is going? It gets a bit bizarre. What is it? Planet X, Nibiru, Hollow Earth, UFO, aliens, Zionists, communists, secret societies, or is it all one and the same? A deception. These range from fairies and elementals to the goddess of the volcano. That's why I've been going over the Rosicrucian material, Jewish mysticism, the Kabbalah, Helena Blavatsky, the Theosophist Society, New Age books, and all this other stuff. And I will continue to keep going over this. Alice Bailey, Annie Besant, they talk about fairies and elementals and all these spirit beings. There is some overlapping here because fairies are also representatives of a mystical, ancient tribe who journeyed into another dimension when they became disgusted with the human race. This is so bizarre I have to show you the book. Where my hand is. Pause it, read it yourself. But anyways, the fairies left the earth because they're disgusted with the human race. Many people are surprised to learn that a group within the positive space dimensional intelligence who are helping us are souls who have recently passed on from the earth plane. So people you know who might have recently died might be these intelligents working on the other side on behalf of Earth, trying to save the Earth and save us. These souls have gone onward to new life and now work from an angelic dimension to help us back here. Obviously, when Adolf Hitler died, he did not go to this angelic dimension. So I thought that was interesting. So apparently they're saying in this material Adolf Hitler was a bad guy and he wasn't going to the angelic dimension. So if that's true, a word of warning to all the secret society, Illuminati Satanists out there, according to this channeler communicating with this other being, you're not going to go to the angelic dimension. You might have this fiery pool of molten lava waiting for you. Just reading the book and thinking. This group is composed of humans who achieved great enlightenment and wisdom when alive and who were on a path of good intent. If you feel psychic contact with your Aunt Sarah, who was a remarkable, enlightened woman, kind to children and animals, and who steadfastly believed in life out there, in the universe despite pressures to be more comforting, it is likely that Aunt Sarah is indeed contacting you from the angelic realm of the space-time intelligence. So if you think about somebody you know who has died, and you think about them a lot, and they were a really nice person, they're probably trying to get a hold of you. She is actively working to save this planet, and part of her assignment, Earth, is to telepathically contact others who feel the same. So these people who have died are telepathically contacting people on Earth to try to save the planet. She knows you feel as she does because you and she were always close and viewed life in a similar mystical, positive manner, and she loves you. But the way they teach in school these days, don't love Jesus. There is no God. And all this Satanism in symbolism and movies and TV programmings. 2.5 Men where Charlie sleeps with a different girl almost every show. Jerry Seinfeld has a different girl every show or so. Modern Family is trying to normalize the gay people who adopt children, and so much more. We all know it exists, and we know that if you go back to look up the approval ratings since the year 2000 for these activities, the American people were, only a small portion were for it. Most people were against it. But it's been changing. Now most people are for that stuff, and very few people are against it. And the few people who are still against this new age and new world order and all this do as thou wilt religious philosophy, there is no sin. But the people who believe that way are now being called haters. It's a very sinister thing going on. I'm reading from the book here. Tell me where I'm missing the mark here. But I know a lot of people watching this video or other material will give me a thumbs down and say that I'm a loony because I see the comments I get when I make comments on press releases about stuff that's in the news, Donald Trump, North Korea. I say simple things like we shouldn't be killing people. I get hate mail and thumbs down. I'm scratching my head and go, man, what are we dealing with? We've got some bizarre wackos on this planet who are believing the deception. Regrettably, they're caught up in it. They don't know what to believe, maybe. Or maybe they've just mentally gone over the deep end. Okay, in no way is the traditional spirit world left out of the current phenomena which is occurring during these earth changes. So it uses the word earth changes here. And this book was published, I think I already said it once, 1996. You see how come I'm connecting the Nibiru stuff? Climate change, pole shifting. So they're back then in 1996, and Diane Tessman is communicating with this Tibus entity. So occurring during these earth changes. I didn't know there were a lot of earth changes going on in 1996. I was out sailing every day. Wish I'd have known what I know now. Maybe I could have gotten involved and helped change things sooner. Okay, it says here, angels are here. On the bottom. Stuff is a little unbelievable. That's why I show the pictures. There is also the more traditional angelic world. So you got your spiritual beings who have died, and you got the goddess of the volcano, fairies, elementals, all mentioned so far. And Adolf Hitler didn't go to the angelical dimension. But this chapter here, there is also the more traditional angelic world involved in the space-time intelligence who work with us. This angelic world. This world includes highly advanced archangels such as Michael. And I've been going over all this material, all these channelers. And there's one channeler, Natalie, whatever her name is here. And she has a whole long list of beings. I've got so much here. Natalie. I couldn't believe this. Pardon me taking a moment from this video, but I think it's important. So I opened up my book here and took out these pages. But this is Master Hilarion, Igniting the Passion Within Sacred School of Omnin. Master Hilarion. So Master Hilarion is being channeled by Natalie Glasson. You can see here where my finger is. You can go look up this document. Master Hilarion, extend my greetings to all on the earth. Radiating my energy, I ignite a fire within you that burns so brightly and vividly that it rekindles your memories of the ascended masters, your guides, companions, and friends on the inner planes, who you are your family of light. There is so much for you to remember, so many links and bonds to be realized, repaired and renewed in order for your greater spiritual growth and the development of humanity. It is important now that each person focuses on realizing, repairing, and renewing their relationships with the Creator. So the public school system and the government and all this has been doing communist, Zionist type activities, getting people to not believe or think bad of Christians and Jesus, while promoting all this other decadent do-as-thou-wilt society. And apparently a lot of these channelers are channeling beings on the other side, saying that they are the Creator, here to help and, what's it called here? Development of humanity. What I really wanted to show here with Natalie Glasson is that she's channeling messages from all kinds of beings. You can go look it up. When I went to her website, they got her channeling with the the Palladians, Archangel Michael, Gabriel, Master Helion channeled through Natalie Gleason, Synergy of Time by Master Dwight Cool, channeled messages from Venus. So I was just really taken back by how many different entities that she's communicating with. So it says. And you saw how thick my big binder here is. I have whole pages of all these different channelers and materials. I've got a lot of work to do here to further my own understanding about what we're talking about. So back to Diane Tessman's book. So my point is all these different channelers are apparently channeling different entities. Lee Carroll's channeling Cryon. Barbara Roberts is channeling Seth. Esther Hicks, a lot of people seem to be following her on the internet, is channeling Abraham. And Barbara Marciniak is channeling the Palladians, as well as when she opens up her lectures and speaking engagements and the videos you watch, when she goes into a trance, she goes, "And I welcome the pixies, and the angels are here, and these other beings, the Palladians, the reptilians. I'm glad everybody is here to listen to me." So you gotta go watch this stuff to believe it, but a lot of people don't have a clue about what I'm talking about. But a lot of people are following this stuff, and just like the gay approval and other things 20 years ago, changing what people think in society, changing our paradigm, changing our society, more and more people are getting on the bandwagon for this material taught by these channeled entities, is what I'm trying to say here. So Titus, anyway, she was channeling Tibus, and apparently has said in her material, I've read this book up to this far and beyond, that this entity is her galactic soulmate or something. And but anyways, she's channeling this entity, and Tibus smiles at this. This world includes highly advanced archangels such as Michael, with whom a number of light workers feel contact, and also personal angels who protect and guide individuals. If Tibus were an angel, he would be my personal guardian angel. Now, I do believe in the spiritual realm. I believe I am a spiritual being in this biological body. So don't get me wrong. I do have some firm commitments on my thinking. I believe that the spiritual world did send Jesus. I believe that the spiritual world sent many people to be enlightened, or were enlightened when they arrived. See, that's a funny point of view. Because even Jesus said to the Jews back then, "Ye are the killers of your prophets." So who sent the prophets? So if you believe that Jesus was real, and he's telling these Jewish people who had him crucified because they didn't like his philosophy of adding a commandment that we are to love one another. So he said, "Ye are the killers of your prophets." We all know about Muhammad, the Hindu religion, Buddha, Krishna, and American Indians and other native tribes all over the world, taking even drugs and going into these other dimensions. So while I'm on that topic, I'll just do one other short pause from the book. And again, point out this one book I have from Peru. Here's the Peruvian Shama, who would take ayahuasca, a drug, to go into a trance state, to go into this other dimension to resolve problems or heal people. And in this other dimension, when he was taking the drug, these are the types of things he would see. He apparently was a talented artist and a professor in this picture here from the United States. Brought him some art supplies so he could paint what he saw while he was in this other realm. So I do believe this other realm exists. Anyway, some really weird pictures in this book. Serpents everywhere, common denominators if you pay attention. And I've been making videos on these topics. I'll make a video on this book one of these days and read about this stuff. But just so you know, you can go out there and find this book. And if you can find it cheap on a used book site, the pictures alone are fascinating. A couple things I did learn from reading this book. Apparently a lot of the medical institutions, big pharmaceutical companies plus universities, were sending their researchers, doctors, whatever, scientists, down to Peru to find out some of the ingredients for some of the cures of medicines that the shamans got from the other side. Then they would come back to the United States and run those medicines through analysis to find out what they were made of. Then they would patent those things. And some of those pharmaceutical solutions came from Peru, from the shamans, from the other side. So when I am talking here, I believe there is a spiritual realm, without a doubt, which jibes with what's in the Bible. And also we've seen what the humans did to Jesus when he was preaching love, overthrowing the money changers' tables and telling them they were the killers of the prophets. And these people were into the Kabbalah and mysticism. The spiritual world does exist. In the Bible, it says 1/3 of the angels from the angelic realm were cast out of heaven. So if you have to get your mind right to understand what you do believe, and what the plausible reality is of this stuff that they're promoting in our reality now, knowing they're bent on this new age and new world order, and some very sinister characters are in charge of our planet. I know, a lot to say. But if you just take it slowly and get some books and look into it, there's no need to rush and understand it this second. It's a lot to take. And even Edgar Cayce talked about soul growth, people making decisions in this lifetime. So we're all on a path, I believe. And apparently that path can lead us to good or bad. And in the other world, as Diane Tessman says here, Adolf Hitler died and did not go to this angelic dimension. FYI. We know the inside people, these secret society elites, did 9/11. We know it has something to do with the artifacts in the Middle East and some kind of return to some golden age that they tell us is a new world order, new age, which I know from my research is a huge deception. Even with all the satanic symbolism, they control the world. They were planning to put the Archway of Baal in New York and London. And later on, through UNESCO, they were planning on putting 1,000 of these archways all over the world. Some kind of witchcraft-type portals. And when I was going over Gerald Clark's material and his analysis of the Anunnaki and other beings of the past, and the Emerald Tablets and so much more. Apparently, before the Great Flood, there was some spiritual work going on to close those portals. I believe from my research, part of the reason they had the big flood is when Atlantis was sinking, a lot of these beings went into Egypt and other parts of the world, Mexico, the Mayans, with the pyramids, which are similar, with the same symbols, the serpent. They were genetically engineering beings, grotesque beings. They even had giants. And apparently the human gene pool, God's creation, Earth, however you want to think about it, was polluted beyond acceptance. You couldn't turn it around. So they had to wipe out everything. And apparently with the Hopi Indians and other native tribes, remnants of humans were saved all over the world to be on the earth, to populate the earth after the big event of destruction. Just summation of the stuff I've been reading. So anyways, this being that Diane Tessman is communicating with, Titus smiles at this saying. So she says that Titus is her personal guardian angel. But Titus, he says, I am no angel. I am a star guardian. I am a traveler in time, and I'm not technically an angel. Therefore, I am more accurately a star guardian. All right. But the concepts of star guardian and guardian angels are very similar. Also working with space-time intelligence are exalted masters, such as the Saint Germain, Nostradamus. I've got a book on Nostradamus. I'll be reading that and making a video and sharing my thoughts and seeing how it matches with all this other stuff I've been going over. And a number of Far Eastern masters. So apparently this Theophist society, a lot of this occult mysticism, is some kind of religion more commonly known in the Oriental countries. Hence they have Buddha, the being with many arms, and Shiva with many arms and all that. So there is something more to reality than we all know, and I agree with that. So it just takes a little bit of time so you can ground yourself in what you think, and maybe wake up and see the dangers coming to our world if the plans that the elites are doing, like with President Donald Trump and other seemingly activities, looks like, and a lot of people are saying, this is not just me, but this World War III or something huge could happen, and they'll blame it on this or that or some small guy in North Korea, whatever. Will we all be fooled? Also working with space-time intelligence are exalted masters such as Saint Germain, Nostradamus, and a number of Far Eastern masters. Not all of these masters are well known by name. Many did not choose fame or lived hundreds or even thousands of years ago. Their memory is lost to the mass human consciousness. Still, these men and women are highly advanced beings and have much help to offer us. The contact you feel may be a knock on the door from one of these souls. So with all these meditation schools, yoga schools, all this new age material, open up your chakras, open up your kundalini, the energy that comes through your tailbone, communicate with these beings from the other side. Like I like to say, and even Jesus said this, you need to test the spirits. I tell people, they tell me that they hear God, they know God, they have this thing talking to them. I want to say, do you know who you're talking to? Did you test them? We also include, on a last but not least basis, magnificent earth prophets and the messiahs such as Jesus Christ, Muhammad, Confucius, and Krishna. The New Age varies in the degree of emphasis placed on Jesus Christ. Many people channel him as Sanandra from aboard a starcraft. So I think Sanandra is one of the entities channeled in the Phoenix journals. Here's one of the journals. You can go online and get them all on PDF form. Oh, this is Cryon. The journal has over there, the Phoenix journals. I made videos on that. Didn't want to confuse. Here's the Phoenix journal I have. And apparently this Sanandra is one of the entities that's being channeled. Blood offerings and blood-stained sands, psychopolitics, and the sacrifice of the Phoenix. Georgios Cyrilos Hanton, Dharma, a Phoenix journal, and the videos I've made on this so far is series number 73. And the video I made was on PDF, so it's in a binder. This is the first hardcover book I got. You can find them at used book sites on the internet. Or you can go on the internet. There's like 120 of these books, and you can get them all on PDF and read them. But apparently it's channeled entities, and one of them is the Sanandra person, who is supposed to be a reincarnation of Jesus. And Edgar Casey was supposed to be a reincarnation of some famous ancient people, prophets or whatever. So the New Age varies in this degree of emphasis placed on Jesus Christ. Many people channel him as Sanandra from aboard a spacecraft. So is Jesus reincarnated from this Sanandra guy? And is he aboard some kind of starcraft, not spacecraft? Others prefer to keep him as Jesus the Christ, whom the Bible tells us about, and whom we feel in all our hearts. Still others view Jesus as a remarkable and advanced human being, perhaps even a superhuman from the future. But these people do not view him as a deity or as an ultimate Messiah. You see how subtle some of the material here can suggest things to people? She's channeling this Tibus, and she's making this statement. Still others view Jesus as a remarkable and advanced human being, perhaps even a superhuman. So they're willing to give him the superhuman status from the future. But these people do not view him as a deity or as a ultimate Messiah. The New Age and the risen frequency for which we strive. So she's saying here we're striving for the New Age and a risen frequency for which we strive must be about tolerance. And that's why they had the White Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter incidents in Richmond, well, it wasn't Richmond, in Virginia and Alabama and other places, and creating all these incidences to create or incite hate. And they keep talking about tolerance, even the rainbow agenda, transgenderism, pansexualism, and do as thou wilt stuff, and making hate comments about Christians and other decent people, destroying a family value society as we know it. And so they are about tolerance, and they are striving for the New Age and the risen frequency. Page 38 here in the middle. The New Age and risen frequency for which we strive must be about tolerance. All perspectives on Jesus Christ are correct. So now she's saying, the channeled material from this Tibus character, that all perspectives on Jesus Christ are correct. And it's not me talking about religion here. This is what's in her book. Are correct, that is. They are correct within the heart of the person doing the perceiving. This is as it should be. We have now covered in brief who are the space dimensional beings who are helping us. There will be more information on each of the groups mentioned later in the book. So I'm going to stop here. As you can see, I've only done a page and a half out of this book with all my commentary. And all this other stuff that I talked about was an opening into this book and a couple other books I'll be going over right away in the next series, like this one. So the conversations will be connected. The Anunnaki, Planet Nibiru, and all these sites that you can go look up. Just look up Planet X or Nibiru on YouTube, Yahoo search, YouTube. And when you get to the YouTube account, click the name of the account like I did. And go to the About page or the video page and do some discernment. And ask yourself, and do like I did, and notice that a lot of them were created all about the same time after 2012. And they've been touting this Planet X, Nibiru, pole shift, catastrophe looming coming to us really soon. Global warming, climate change, which is never ending. And all this other stuff. And in the comment section is a link to my donate PayPal account. I could use some support to continue doing this work. As you can see, I've set out a lot of work for myself to share, and in my opinion, with just cause. Time is money, and this stuff does take a lot of my time. I've got 1,000 books in this room, and if I were to start going online selling them tomorrow, I could get $5,000 or $10,000 and solve my financial situation. Or people can tell me, don't sell the books, Rick. Continue reading those books, Little Gray Bastards, and all these other ones you have, and your psychic research and your thoughts and commentary. And keep doing what you're doing, which is what I would like to do. But you do have to pay the bills. So thank you for watching my video, Rick Miracle reporting.